Bamidele Michael Ofemi, who that was on the 29th July 2025. Akwashiki Godia on 3rd August. Abdulaziz Musaira Adwa on 4th August. Salis Shuaibu Afolabi 4th August. Adiola Solomon Lamilekon 10th August. Rufai Yanga 18th August. Distinguished Senator Manu Haruna 23rd August. Distinguished Senator Ekonyon Asuko 25th August. Distinguished Senator Basi Enika Etim 20th August. Distinguished Senator Tony Woy 13th September. Pam Mwikon Dachungyan 14th September. Alaji Brian Gaidam. Oh, it's no longer here. It's no longer here. I think it was a mistake from the clerk. But in any case, we wish him happy birthday. He's not with us now, but he's always with us, being someone who served in this esteemed chamber before he was appointed Minister of the Federal Republic. Senator Ekong Samson, 25th September. Senator Mustafa Saliu, 25th September. Senator Umar Shehu Buba, 2nd October. Order. On behalf of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I wish the distinguished senators happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Distinguished senators, the President of the Senate on his way to welcome all of us from our recess. Is going to deliver the normal speech that is always delivered after resumption of work whenever we came back from holidays. But before then, let me welcome all of you for resuming duties after our annual recess. You are most welcome, and I hope you had a wonderful recess. You have rested so much, and now you are energized to continue to work for our fatherland. You are most welcome.
Point of order.
We are ready for you.
Point of order, sir. And I get you. Nothing.
Any petition?
Point of order. Okay, sir.
Senator Osita.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Osita. I represent Enugu West. Mr. President, I have two petitions and none is sub judice. The first one is from Etiti village in Ungwo. A petition over the murder
Chibi, can you
of
please restore order?
young Mr. Sochima Ono, who
Order,
was
please.
killed and the suspect released by the police, even
Distinguished
without
Senator,
concluding
resume your seat,
investigation.
please.
Mr. President, they just seek for justice. The second petition is from ex-Sergeant Ikechukwu, who alleged that he was wrongly dismissed. He also approaches this chamber to seek for justice. With your kind permission, I'll lay both petitions.
These matters before any court of law?
No, Mr.
No
President.
legal encumbrance?
None.
You may wish to submit your petition. This petition referred to the Committee on Public Petitions to work on it and report back within 2 weeks. The Mountain Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate. My name is Kamaluddin Olalere Oyewumi. I represent Osun West Senatorial District. So this petition is from a prominent leader from my senatorial district, a retired Lieutenant General in the Nigerian Army, and former Chief of Army Policy and Plans, Lieutenant General Adeosun, and other very senior military officers, including retired Air Vice Marshal A.G. Yusuf and other eminent Nigerians, as regards the unlawful termination of some cadets in the school. And there is no legal encumbrance. They are just seeking for clemency of the Senate to be able to complete their program in school. Mr. President, I seek your permission to lay the petition. Senator Kao Sumaila, take your seat. Mr. President, I seek permission of the House to lay the petition.
Legal encumbrance?
No legal encumbrance.
You may wish to lay the petition on the table. The petition is referred to the Committee on Public Petitions to report back within 2 weeks. Any other petition?
Point of order, sir.
Leader of the Senate.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order. Who is reason?
Yes, sir.
Senator Onao Mohamed Okoshi.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I come under order 41. With your permission, sir, if I can read the order.
It is assumed that we all know about order 41. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. If we already know the orders, let me just go ahead straight to this order is a matter of urgent public importance and the need to pay tribute to Senator Solomon Ewuga, CON, for his exemplary service to Nasarawa State and the nation. This Senate notes with deep sense of loss the passing of Senator Solomon Ewuga, CON, a distinguished Nigerian statesman, consummate public servant, a community leader whose contributions to the national development and service to humanity left indelible marks on the political and socio-economic landscape of Nasarawa State and the nation at large. This scenario recalls that Senator Ewuga served Nigeria in various capacities with uncommon diligence, integrity, and vision. As a former deputy governor of Nasarawa State, Senator of the Federal Republic representing Nasarawa North Senatorial District, Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, and later a respected elder statesman whose wisdom guided successive administrations.
Senator Ogoshi,
Sir.
I hope you were referring to partial explanation, right?
No, sir.
Partial explanation. You told me, you approached me this morning.
Yes, sir.
That you want to come under partial explanation
I said,
to a kind of pay tributes and also let us know that you lost one of our leaders in this country,
Yes,
former
sir.
minister,
Yes.
Solomon Ewuga, which I agree that you can come under partial explanation. So you should be under partial explanation. We are not going to debate that. Was he a former senator? Then you come under. Well, it shouldn't be partial explanation. You need to come under substantive motion. But he has already come under partial.
You're welcome, Mr. President, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Huh?
Yes.
Can I continue, sir?
Do you want to come under personal explanation?
No, under 41, sir.
Okay. For what day?
Yes, sir.
Today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Very quickly.
Yes, sir. Like I was reading, sir. I said, this Senate recalls that Senator Ewuga served Nigeria in various capacities with uncommon diligence, integrity, and vision. As a former deputy governor of Nasarawa State, as a senator of the Federal Republic representing Nasarawa North,
Okay, I see what you mean. Distinguished.
Sir.
Is being a former senator.
Yes, sir.
We believe we should have more time.
Yes, that's
to
why
give him honor. Yes, so
that's why I'm calling on the motion
because of the nature of things that we have to do this morning.
Yes, sir.
We would like you to come on the next legislative day.
Thank you very much,
so that
sir.
it will be easy for us to really eulogize him.
Thank you very much.
He was one of us, and I think that's the best we can do for one another.
Thank you very much.
Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to come through the serious motion on the next legislative day? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Anything that has to do with points of order with Senator Dume, I have to say that noted, but relax. Let me. Everyone. Senator Dume, Senator Ningi, your brother and your very close friend, has suggested that you should approach the chair immediately. Let me, distinguished colleagues,
Point of order.
distinguished Senator Ali Ndume.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Mohammed Alindume, representing Borno South. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I raise Order 41, and it reads, that is matter of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of daily sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. 2, if the claim is allowed by the President of the Senate and the leave of the Senate is given by at least 1/5 of all the senators, the matter shall stand over till next legislative days. 3, a senator moving...
Distinguished colleagues, I thought we agreed that we should take this on another day.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
You don't need to. The rules are embedded in the bosom of the Senate President. I'm well versed with it, so you don't need to read it out. Just that your point of order is cogent, urgent, and relevant. And therefore, is it the wish of the Senate that he be allowed to proceed with it on the next legislative date? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So you'll bring it up again. Yes, Senator Aneka Mbasi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my name is Senator Aneka Mbasi, representing Akwa Ibom Northeast. My motion is pursuant to Order 41 and 51 as a matter of urgent public importance.
you
4151. If I have your leave, may I proceed, Your Excellency?
no, what you mentioned to me is on the treatment of Nigerians in Libya. Am I right?
Yes, Your Excellency.
That's what I said. We can take it on another day, and unless it is life-threatening.
Your Excellency is life-threatening. It's very,
Okay.
very urgent.
So, okay, distinguished colleagues, he has an urgent issue that has to do with the lives of Nigerians in Libya. So, is it the view of the Senate that we step it down so that we can take it later in the day after passing through other issues? Those in support that we step it down and take it later in the day because of the life-threatening nature of the motion, say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. So you take it much later. So we step it down for them. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Garba, I was thinking you can give me just 2 minutes to read certain correspondences from the president. Okay. Thank you so much for indulgence. Let me very especially the Deputy Senate President, the leader of the Senate, and the leadership of the entire 10 Senate, and my distinguished brothers and sisters. Let me join the Deputy Senate President to formally welcome you after the recess. I want to thank Almighty God for preserving your life through His mercy. We are back with the noble charge of legislating for our republic. So, as I join my colleague, the Deputy Senate President, to welcome you, I want to say that this return should bring about renewed bond and should reflect the very grave responsibilities that attend the high office of being a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Before all else, let us extend our warm congratulations to the President and the Commander-in-Chief and to all Nigerians on the celebration of the nation's independence anniversary. After we hoisted our flag of freedom 65 years ago, we are reminded that the journey of nationhood is not a sprint, but a marathon. One generation handing the torch like a relay of faith and sacrifice to the next generation. The flame may flicker, but it must never be allowed to die. May the labors of our heroes past continue to inspire us to build a nation that is free, just, and prosperous. Our country has walked through both shadow and sunshine while we were away. Many families have grieved for losing their loved ones, one of which was a very cruel boat tragedy that happened on the River Niger in Kogi State, and in the bloody outrage at the mosque in Katsina State. We mourn also the 12 forest guards that were slain in Okeodo in Kwara State, cut down while protecting our environment, martyrs of our service who remind us that insecurity knows no boundaries and knows no religion. We commiserate with our compatriots across the flood-ravaged states of Bayelsa, Sokoto, and Zamfara states as the 2025 flood season continues to uproot lives and destroy livelihoods. We urge urgent coordination between the federal and subnational governments to mitigate these devastations before they become annual calamities. To every home afflicted by these disasters, insecurity, hunger, and hardship, the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria hereby extend to them the hand of fellowship and the prayer of comfort. We promise them that we shall not flinch from the duty of relief and redress for our people in this country. While our hearts grieve, our hopes endure because of very glimmers of progress. Nigeria's oil production has climbed towards 1.8 million barrels per day, driven by reforms and renewed investor confidence. Our subnational governments are taking from the Federation account billions that can now assist them. I can confidently say that through the engineering of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his team, no state government today is borrowing money to pay salary. So for this, we say kudos to the administration. So we must ensure that this blessing does not become another fleeting windfall, but a foundation for fiscal discipline, infrastructural renewal, and more job creations. Let us also heed the cry from the farms and the markets across the nation. Over 33 million Nigerians face acute food insecurity, a crisis demanding urgent legislative attention, particularly in areas of agriculture, rural roads, irrigation, and mechanization. This must be introduced. Hunger cannot be defeated with words. Hunger requires policy direction, diligent budgeting to defeat it. Our people do not look to us for lamentations. That is not why they voted us. They look to us for action. The banners of terrorism and banditry still threaten the very countrysides of Nigeria. The cost of living weighs upon the families and all tables in the nation like iron chains. The flickering of our national grid leaves cities in darkness and commerce in paralysis. These trials summon us to service of uncommon urgency and to partner with the executive arm of government so that together we can rewrite the story of our nation for generations to come. We must legislate with boldness. We must press forward with reforms to steady our economy. We must draw investments. We must broaden the tax base as we have done through the tax reforms. And we must nurture the growth of our nation. We must strike hard at the enemies of ignorance, disease by strengthening education, healthcare. We must do everything to counsel the misconceptions outside the shores of this country, because Nigeria is greater and Nigeria is more united than they are trying to make the world to believe. We must give the youths of Nigeria not only hope, but opportunities. We must revisit the constitutional amendment, the alterations, to make our federation stronger, our governance more efficient, and our democracy much more inclusive. Above all, we must wield our power of oversight with vigilance so that the people's money is spent for the people's good. Our relations with the executive shall remain frank, firm, neither obsequious nor obstructive. Where policies raise our people, we shall learn our strength. Where policies tend to imperil them, we shall speak out on their behalf. We must continue to uphold the independence of this Senate, the dignity of these chambers, the hallowed chambers, the most prestigious club in the world, the elite club, the Senate, not just of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but of any nation. Therefore, we must uphold the majesty of our Constitution, which governs us all and all our efforts. To the citizens of Nigeria, we say this: we in the 10th Senate, we hear you. We know your expectations. You ask us not for excuses, but for results. Not for noise, but for substance. This Senate will continue to remain open, accountable, and responsive. We will not shrink from enforcing discipline, from scrutiny. Indeed, we welcome it, for accountability is the lifeblood of democracy. But it must be clearly understood, the foundation of every democracy is its legislature. Those who seek to weaken the legislature, in truth, seek to wreck the very substructure of democracy itself. As we stand once more on the threshold of another election, let me say another election season, let us speak plainly to our constituents about the sacred duty of choice. It's important for them to know that the choice they make is sacred. Leadership is not a carnival, and governance is not a stage for theatrics. Let no one mistake the nation's destiny for a costume drama, nor confuse applause with achievements. Whether in party primaries or general elections, let us not lay quality upon the altar of spectacle, nor exchange wisdom for noise, nor experience for glitter. If our politics must be mended, let it begin with the courage to choose the right men and women of integrity, of tested virtue, of proven competence, and of sincere devotion to service of our nation. We must teach our people that democracy will only flourish when ballots are cast, not for the loudest voice, but for the wisest heads. Not for those who seek office as an ornament, but for those who see it as a burden of duty. Distinguished colleagues, let history record that in our time, we did not shrink from the truth, nor flinch from our responsibilities, but urge our people toward leaders worthy of their trust. So as we resume today with fresh vigor and steadfast resolve, we must legislate not only for the Nigeria of today, but for generations yet unborn, and even for generations we shall never see. Let this Senate be remembered as an instrument of national transformation and a citadel of democracy that brought about hope for our nation. So I welcome you back to your hallowed chamber. I wish you God's mercies. May God prosper our labor on a daily basis, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A few correspondences from Mr. President, then we run off. The clerk, take note. Correspondence from the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. This came whilst we were away, actually dated 30th day of July, 2025. Distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, decline of assent to the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Establishment Bill 2025. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision to decline assent to the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Establishment Bill 2025. The rationale for my decision is that the bill is tainted with fundamental defects, such as Section 18, subsection 4A. The bill expands the source of funding the National Transport Logistics Research to include 1% of the freight on every import and every export from Nigeria without the approval of the Federal Executive Council. And more so when the institute is to be funded by the very federal government itself. Section 21 and 2 empowers the institute to borrow by way of loan or overdraft without the consent of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, except where the amount to be borrowed is above 50 million or 50 million naira. In the Extant Act, borrowing can be made with the approval of the President. The removal of the approval of the President has not been explained or justified. The provision could be abused, as the institute may request to borrow amount equal to 50,000 naira or less in order to avoid presidential approval. This will amount to serious financial abuse. Section 23 and 4, on power to invest surplus funds. Since the institute is to be funded by the federal government and money appropriated by the government for any agency usually budgeted and accounted for, it is unlikely to have surpluses. The issue of investing surplus funds is usually applicable to agencies that are not funded by the federal government of Nigeria, but generate revenue to spend revenue. In addition, Section 21 states that it is the surplus fund of the institute that should be invested, while Section 23 states that any of the institute's funds could be invested. This can allow funds other than surpluses to be diverted for investment purpose from original purpose. Section 18(2) requires money in the fund to be applied towards the promotion of the objective and functions of the Act. It does not include or recognize the investment of the funds of the institute. This seems contradictory to Section 23, which purports to allow the institute to invest its funds on securities as approved by the minister. On the above reasons, I withhold my assent to the bill. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Here, I want to thank the President for taking time to go through each and every bill that we send to the executive. This is very, very impressive because it means that the executive took time to go through clause by clause. And so we will do justice to all the observations put forward by the president. So this is again committed to the committee of the whole Senate. Another correspondence from the president. Confirmation of appointment of 2 commissioners of the National Population Commission. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the following 2 nominees as commissioners of the National Population Commission, NPC. Honorable Dr. Joseph Haruna Kibu is the commissioner designate from Nasarawa State. Honorable Tunga Betara Bularafa, commissioner designate from Yobe State. While hoping that this request will receive expeditious consideration of the Nigerian Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on National Population and Identity Cards to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Dated 1st day of September 2025. He came while we were on recess. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, President of the Senate. Confirmation of appointment of commissioners for Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMFAC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of 6 underlisted nominees as commissioners to represent their respective states in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission. Bello Abubakar Wamako. Bello Abubakar Wamako. Sokoto State. I'll take it again. Bello Abubakar Wamako. Not Senator Wamako, but Commissioner designate from Sokoto State. Hadizatu Owane Mustafa, Commissioner designate from Borno State. Senator Marafa Bashir Abba, Commissioner designate from Taraba State. Ahmed Waziri Hassan, Commissioner designate from Adamawa State. Bob Helen Inafra, Commissioner designate from Bayelsa State. Boyeka Oladele, Commissioner designate from Osun State. While I hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs to revert to the Senate in 1 week. This is from Mr. President, Chairman Power. Chairman Power. Confirmation of appointment of the Chairman and Commissioners, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC. Distinguished Senate President, dated 6th day of August 2025, whilst we were on break. In accordance with the provisions of Section 35, subsection 1 and 3 of the Electricity Act 2023, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the following 3 persons as Chairman and Commissioners of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC. Engineer Abdullahi Garba Ramat. Well, you have been nominated as Chairman of NEC. But this is not Senator. This is Engineer. So it could be a coincidence of name. Abubakar Yusuf, Commissioner Designate Consumer Affairs. Dr. Faud Olayinka Anima Shaun, Commissioner Designate Finance and Management Services. While it is hoped that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in its usual expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration and personal regards. Signed, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Power to revert to the Senate in 1 week. This also came whilst we were on break. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio GCN, Senate President, Distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of commissioners for the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 5, subsection 1 and 3 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC Act 2018, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the following two persons as commissioners in the FCCPC. Mr. Louis Odion, Edo State Commissioner Operations. Mr. Umusalma Isiaka Rabiu, Kano State Commissioner Corporate Services. Whilst hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in its usual expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest considerations. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Trade and Investment to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio GCN, Senate President. Distinguished Senate President, confirmation of the appointment of the Chairman and members of the National Pension Commission, NPC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 19, subsection 3 of the Pension Reform Act 2014, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Nigerian Senate the appointment of the underlisted 6 persons as Chairman, Director General, and Commissioners of the National Pension Commission. Agbaje Opeyemi Olukoya, Chairman, Southwest. Honorable Hafiz Mohammed Kawu Ibrahim, OON. Honorable Hafiz Muhammad Kawu Ibrahim, OON, Commissioner, Technical Services, Northwest. Samuel Chigozie Uwanda, CPA, Commissioner, Inspectorate Division, Southeast. Charles Efe Sylvester, Commissioner of Finance from South-South. Bello Abubakar Malabo. Bello Abubakar Malabo, Commissioner, Administration, Northeast. Omolala Bridget Olowararan, Director General, Southwest. While it is my hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in its usual expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration and personal regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Further correspondence from Mr. President.
Senator Stangu, take your seat. Senator Abiru, take your seat. Senator Shomole, take your seat, sir.
Order, please. Distinguished Senator Oshirole, Distinguished Senator Abiru, take your seats. Sanu sa, lafiya kalosa. Sanu. Distinguished Senator Dendise, Senator Bilbis, Distinguished Senator Buhari, take your seats. Senator Dendise, take your seat. Senator Kausu Mela, take your seat.
Yes, thank you. Distinguished colleagues.
Senator Padahusi, Senator Padahusi, take your seat. Senator Musa Basali, take your seat.
Take your seats. Take your.
Distinguished Senator Buba, take your seat. Distinguished Senator Sani Musa, take your seat. Yes. Distinguished Senator Buba, take your seat. Senator Bilbis, take your seat. Senator
Distinguished colleagues.
Senator Dendise, take your seat. Senator Mbine, take your seat.
Distinguished colleagues. Further correspondence from Mr. President.
Senator Dendise, take your seat. Senator Ogoshi, Ona Ogoshi, Senator Ona Ogoshi, take your seat. The chamber is ready, sir. The chamber is ready for business now.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of the Managing Director, National Hydroelectric Power Producing Area Development Commission, NHIPADEC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 393 of the Electricity Act 2023, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Abubakar Sadiq Yelwa as Managing Director, National Hydroelectric Power Producing Area Development Commission, NHIPADEC, for a second and final term in office. While it is my hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in a expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration and personal regards. Signed, yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Power to screen and recommend to the Senate for further action within 1 week.
That's the approval.
Senator Sani Musa, please approach the chair.
Distinguished Senator Sani Musa, distinguished Senator Abiru. I'm doing it deliberately.
Distinguished Senator Sani Musa.
Distinguished
and
Senator Sani Musa, distinguished Senator Abiru. Chairman Banking, Chairman Finance,
the Chief Whip has
resume your
just
seats.
recognized your contributions to national development. Distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of co-chairman of the Governing Council of the Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund. I'm reading as it is. In accordance with the provisions of Section 77, subsection 5 of the Finance Act, (2020), I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Obehi Aire Okafor as co-chairman of the Governing Council of the Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund. Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund. In accordance with the provisions of Section 77, subsection 5 of the Finance Act 2020, I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Mr. Obehi Aire Okafor as co-chairman of the Governing Council of the Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund. While I hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in its usual expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is dated 22nd day of September 2025. So it came whilst we were on break. Since it comes under the Finance Act, and after due consultation with the chairman of Finance and the chairman of Banking and other Financial Institutions Act committees of the Senate, this is referred to the Committee on Finance to revert, and the two committees should work together. The committees on finance and the committee on banking and other financial institutions of the Senate to revert to the Senate after putting their heads together in the next 1 week. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senate President, distinguished colleagues, decline of assent, National Assembly Library Trust Fund Establishment Amendment Bill 2025. Notwithstanding the laudable objectives of the legislation, certain provisions contained therein go against the settled law and policies of the federal government of Nigeria as it relates to funding of agencies under the National Assembly, taxation of national entities, public service remuneration, as well as age and year of service, amongst others. If this bill becomes law, these provisions will establish an unsustainable precedent against the public interest. Further to the above, I will not be granting presidential assent to the bill. I hope that the Senate will take necessary steps to fix the identified issues with this legislation. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Special Duties for special attention. And the committee should work in collaboration with the Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters and revert to the Senate as soon as practicable. Distinguished colleagues, just to inform you that Mr. President has given assent to the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2025 amendment. So further to our letter from the clerk, forwarding the authenticated copies of the bill for Mr. President's consideration and assent, I hereby return 2 copies duly signed by Mr. President, who has granted assent, and seal of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This now establishes the police training institutes in the various areas designated by the Nigerian Senate. Just further information that Mr. President has further given assent to the Nigerian Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill 2025. Seal of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and his signatures have therefore concluded the Nigerian Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill, Establishment Bill, now an Act of Parliament. is sent to the clerk for further action in terms of gazetting and other necessary dissemination. Final announcement. Just to let the distinguished senators know that today we have the APC youth leaders from Delta State North, from Delta North Senatorial District in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. APC, you're welcome to the Hallowed Chambers. Okay. APC Delta youth leaders of Delta North. You are welcome to observe Senate proceedings. Here, there is no political party, so you are welcome, and we are happy to see all of you. I wish you fruitful observations and journey mercies and victories in future elections. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in the name of the Senate leader on the National Inland Waterways Authority Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025 HB 790. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Inland Waterways Authority Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025 HB 790. First reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Inland Waterways Authority Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, HB 790. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, most distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the second business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in the name of the Senate leader on the Federal Road Safety Corps Act Amendment Bill 2025 HB 1401.
Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Road Safety Corps Act Amendment Bill 2025, HB 1401, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Road Safety Corps Act Amendment Bill 2025, HB 1401, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Musa Muhammad Sani on the performance and priority-based National Budgeting System Bill 2025, SB 827. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Performance and Priority-Based National Budgeting System Bill 2025, SB 827, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Performance and Priority-Based National Budgeting System Bill 2025, SB 827, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Olamilekan Adeola Solomon on the Primary Health Care Development Agency Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025, SB 900. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Primary Health Care Development Agency Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025, SB 900, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Primary Healthcare Development Agency Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, first reading taken. Clerk, Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Father Unsi Adenigba Francis on the Psychiatric Hospitals Management Board Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 901. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Psychiatric Hospitals Management Board Act, Amendment Bill 2025, SB 901, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Psychiatric Hospitals Management Board Amendment Act Bill 2025, SB 901, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Ibrahim Lamido on the National Youth Service Corps Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 902. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Youth Service Corps Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 902, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Youth Service Corps Amendment Bill 2025, SB 902, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the second reading of the Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 570. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, the 3rd of October 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Bello Sani Abubakar to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time. And Mr. President, I understand distinguished Senator Abubakar Bello is away on official engagement, and the most distinguished Senator Mohammed Onao Ogoshi will be taking the bill on his behalf.
Distinguished Senator Onao Ogochi.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You may wish to lead us on the general principles of the bill for members to comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, this is a lead debate on a bill to amend the Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Cap P343, Law of the Federation 2004, and for other related matters 2005, SB 570. This bill is sponsored by Senator Bello Sani Abubakar. As the leader said, I'm standing in for him. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is an honor for me to lead the debate on the bill to amend the Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Cap P343, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, with a view to highlighting the need for more provisions in the extant legislation in order to preserve, sanctify, and redeem the image of the Federal Republic of Nigeria globally. The proposed amendment to the extant Passport Miscellaneous Act is imperative and compelling in that it is a variable action to effectively redeem the severely tarnished image of our dear country in the eyes of the international community, and then to enact a strong disincentive for the commission of crimes by Nigerians across international jurisdictions. The commission of crimes by Nigerians in foreign jurisdictions has dealt a crashing blow to the reputation and image of Nigeria and is costing us stupendous disgrace in the diplomatic community and international transit. It projects Nigerians as persona non grata to whom foreign visas are restricted or denied, with negative effect to our national interests. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, countries like China, Turkey, Canada, France, Egypt, Germany, Ethiopia, South Africa, Russia, and the United Arab Emirates, among others, which are destinations of interest to our citizens, apply stringent visa rules to Nigerians. A major reason for the visa restriction is the significant commission of crimes and conviction of Nigerians in those countries. Though profiles of crimes by Nigerians in foreign countries are protected for human rights reasons, as chairman of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs and being privy to the issues in the diplomatic community, the detriment of such crimes to our foreign affairs, the harm to our bilateral and multilateral interests, and the dent to our image and integrity, I'm convinced that it is incumbent upon us as a country to act and demonstrate responsibility to ending the indulgence of our citizens in crimes anywhere in the world. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as a consequence of the injury to the integrity of our country from crimes by our citizens in foreign jurisdictions, innocent and patriotic Nigerians suffer harassment in international transits, denial and hardship in visa applications, discrimination, and negative stereotype in social dealings, cost and distress. The green passport is widely discountenanced, and the sovereign pride is intrinsically bias has severely diminished. That is nothing less than a state of emergency. The legislature is mandated under Section 4 of the Constitution with lawmaking for the peace, order, and good governance of Nigeria. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the extant law on Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act is good, but good is the enemy of better. It will do better if amended with provisions that impose an extra layer of deterrent to the commission of crimes by our citizens in foreign countries. It will demonstrate responsibility on our part to discourage the perpetration of crime by our citizens and to redeem the image of our country. Mr. President, sir, distinguished colleagues, this bill therefore seeks to amend the Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Cap P 343, Law of the Federation 2004, to provide for measures towards preserving the image of Nigerians while abroad and the Federal Republic of Nigeria globally. The implication of the proposed amendment is that where a Nigerian commits any of the foregoing offenses in a foreign country and is convicted for the crime, the international passport of the convict will be withdrawn for 10 years. These measures serve as a veritable deterrent to the commission of crime in a foreign country. This proposed amendment will redeem, preserve, and elevate the image and integrity of our dear country. It is also an opportunity for us to demonstrate our commitment to good governance and stance against crimes and criminalities. We cannot do otherwise than make this compelling amendment. I implore you, as patriots in the sincere service of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to support this bill to the fulfillment of its indispensable objectives. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator Mongudu.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, this bill is very apt and germane and wouldn't have come at a better time than now, especially against the backdrop of the denial of visas to Nigerians by various countries across the globe, as well as the profiling of holders of green passport, the Nigerian passport, while in foreign jurisdictions. This is merely visited upon innocent Nigerians as a result of the crimes that is being perpetrated by other Nigerians in foreign crimes. That is why various countries have taken steps with a view to denying visas to Nigerians and profiling Nigerians while in foreign jurisdictions as a result of crimes being perpetrated by Nigerians abroad. So what this bill essentially seeks to do is to punish Nigerians that have committed crime in foreign lands by withdrawing their passport for 10 years to serve as a deterrence to other Nigerians from committing crimes in foreign jurisdictions that will go a long way in tarnishing the image of the country that led to the denial of visas and profiling of Nigerians abroad. So I implore my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill in order to redeem the image of Nigerians and to nip this ugly scenario in the bud. I support the second reading of this bill, sir. Thank
you. Senator Babangida.
No, thank you very much, the President sitting as chair. I stand to lend my voice and support the second reading of this bill. I commend the presenter of this bill because it is timeous, it is apt. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Babangida Hussaini representing Jigawa Northwest. And I think it is time for us to really look critically into this issue because Nigerians of all shades and colors are being disrespected in foreign lands. Nigerians are profiled because of the ease of acquiring Nigerian passports. With the advent of the ECOWAS protocol in 1975, Nigerians and other African countries unified the passport issuance system by granting the ECOWAS passport. But sadly, crimes committed by other nationals, not necessarily Nigerians, are attributed to Nigerians and were being profiled in foreign countries. We have cases, numerous cases, to buttress this argument. Some time ago, there was a robbery in one of the foreign lands in the Middle East, and the holders and the accused were holding Nigerian passports, but they were not Nigerians. They were not Nigerians. And unfortunately, every Nigerian is profiled and seen as a potential criminal. And I think it is high time we look critically into this, support the second reading of this bill, tighten the process of acquiring Nigerian passport, and make sure that at least those who really need Nigerian passports are issued, and only to Nigerians, bona fide Nigerians. I think it is apt we support the reading of this bill, and I hope that our colleagues will give this expeditious consideration. Thank you, sir.
Is there anybody opposed to this bill? No. Going for a second reading? Because one of the things that attracts me to this bill has to do with the idea of preserving the dignity and the integrity of Nigerians. Like distinguished Senator Babangida pointed out, I am aware of that case in the Middle East, specifically Dubai, where some people committed, some black people committed robbery, and they were holding Nigerian passports. But eventually, when investigation was done, they discovered that they were actually not Nigerians. So as this bill, when it goes through public hearing and all and comes back to us and we send it to Mr. President for assent, and concurrence of our colleague in the House of Representatives will help to curb such incidents, will tighten the ways and manner in which Nigerian passports circulate in the hands of foreigners. And also, where a Nigerian goes to mess up the image of the country, such a Nigerian should not just go to prison and be deported to Nigeria. Such a person should actually lose the international passport for at least 10 years, or 10 to 20 years, to serve as a deterrent. I'm sure these things will be discussed in public hearing. So I want to thank distinguished Senator Sani Bello and distinguished Senator Onao Okochi for bringing this up, and I'll proceed to invite the Senate leader to go ahead and read that this bill should go for a second reading, right? Distinguished colleagues, those in support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate, you may proceed to read the bill for the second time.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the passport miscellaneous provisions, Act Cap P343, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, to provide for measures towards preserving the image of the Federal Republic of Nigeria globally and for other related matters 2025 SB 507. Second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Cap P343, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2025, SB 570, to make provisions for proper management of issuance of Nigerian passports and other related matters 2025. Second reading taken and referred to the two committees, in fact, three committees: Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Committee on Foreign Affairs, and the Committee on Interior, as the lead committee, to revert to the Senate in 6 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second and third orders of the day are House bills for concurrence as listed on the other paper. Mr. President, it's one, the Central Gaming Bill 2025 HB 2062, as well as the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025 HBs 348, 478, 644, 680, 709, 1818, 1855, 1871, 1191, both for concurrence. Mr. President, for the simple nature of the bills and for purposes of interchamber reciprocity, I will present a lead debate on the bills if I have your permission to do so.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, lead debate on bills for concurrence from the House of Representatives. 1. Central Gaming Bill 2025-2062 and 2. Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the Central Gaming Bill 2025 HB 2062 seeks to repeal the National Lottery Act number 7 of 2005 and the National Lottery Amendment Act number 6 of 2017, and to enact the Central Gaming Bill to regulate the operation and business of all forms of online and remote gaming across the geographical boundaries of the federating unit and beyond the international boundaries of Nigeria, provide for the conduct of gaming in the Federal Capital Territory, and enhance revenue generation for the Federation. The second bill, which is the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025, HB 348-478, 644-680, 709-1818, 1855, 1871, and 1191, seek to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 to provide for the establishment of additional federal medical centers across the country. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, these bills are straightforward and have gone through the necessary legislative process in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of these bills as we refer them to the Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues.
Any contributions? Senator Asukwa.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Asukwa Ipeyong, Senator representing Cross River South. Mr. President, the bill for concurrence from the House of Representatives, Central Gaming Bill 2025 HB 2062, is before us, Mr. President. I recall in this chamber some months ago, a bill was proposed by Senator Steve Sunday Karimi with regards to amendment of the gaming bill. And during that presentation, I stood up and contributed, and I mentioned that I am aware of a Supreme Court judgment wherein it was stated as a verdict by the Supreme Court of the land that gaming is the exclusive preserve of the subnational government, and that the National Assembly can only legislate on gaming when it comes to the Federal Capital Territory. I see here before us that this bill seeks to regulate the operations of gaming, not just of the FCT, but of the subnational government, although it says it intends to focus on the online and remote aspects of it. I would like to ask that the committee actually takes its time to review this bill for concurrence to ensure that there is no disparity between the Supreme Court judgment and what is being proposed here, especially as it pertains to the operations at the subnational level. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Swiss Senator Gbenga Daniels.
Thank you, our President. I'm Otumba Gbenga Daniel, representing Ogun East Senatorial District. And I want to also stand to support the bill proposed to amend the Federal Medical Centers. There is no doubt that part of what our people expect is improvement in medical support for the citizens. And from what we have seen, clearly, the Federal Medical Centers have done wonderfully well in improving the state of healthcare across the length and breadth of our country. I've noticed that item 2 have stated the insertion of a few new medical centers. But one is conspicuously missing, because I remember when we discussed this the last time, the issue of the creation of Federal Medical Center in Ijebu-Ode was variously discussed. And I think that there is indeed an error. I'm therefore asking that Federal Medical Center Ijebu-Ode is included in the amendments. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Sani Musa. Distinguished Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the submission, my name is Mohammed Sani Musa, Niger East Senatorial District. The submission given by Senator Asuko, I think is in line with the concepts of gaming. Because when you said online gaming, and then what is then going to be the position of the subnationals? So I think the submission by Asuko have captured everything. So it is left for the chamber to consider, are we going to now uphold this, or we are going to bring back what we have done earlier and amend? Because there will be conflicts of the two.
Distinguished Senator Izunaso.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I think there appears to be a misconception here. Those who are talking about Supreme Court judgment, I'm not sure that they have read this new bill. This bill is not in conflict with the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court judgment empowered the subnationals to deal with the issues of lottery and lotto. But this bill is talking about online e-lottery. Is different from dealing with such respective states. This bill is talking also with FCT, because with this bill, this gaming commission now will be the FCT gaming commission that is given the power to regulate online gaming in Nigeria. So, Mr. President, I think it is right and proper that we toe the line of the House of Reps and concur on this bill. Thank you, Mr. President. Yes.
Senator Michael Adetokunbo Abiru, the Baba Dini of Ikorodu.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Adetokunbo Abiru. I also rise to support the position of Senator Ekpenyong and, of course, Senator Sani Musa, because there is a subsisting Supreme Court judgment that has already settled this matter. And I think that the idea of gaming, whether it is online or any form of lottery business, to remain the preserve of the subnationals. So I support the position of Senator Ekpenyong and, of course, that of Senator Sani Musa. Thank you.
Senator Asuko Ekpenyong.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, once again, my name is Asuko Ekpenyong, Senator representing Cross River South. I would have liked to address Senator Izunaso, because he mentioned some very salient points, where he mentioned that this aspect of this bill speaks about the online nature. But I'd like to draw his attention that the spirit of gaming has to do with where the person who is playing that game of chance is resident. So the people don't live online. The action may take place online, but it is at the point of where that person is resident that that activity is said to have taken place. So if a person is playing online in, for instance, Calabar, Cross River State, that gaming is happening in Cross River State, and it is the preserve of the Cross River State to legislate on that activity. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Nobody from the opposition to give your own view in respect to this? Only the ruling party members? Okay, since there's no one in the opposition, let me still give Senator Sharafaddin of his Prince Ali Sharafaddin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Sharafaddin Abiodun Ali. I rise to support the position of Senator Ekpenyong and others who have spoken on that behalf. We are not saying that nobody can say that the Supreme Court decision can be challenged. That is out of it. With what Senator Izunaso is saying, we do not say whether it's right or not, but the truth is
gaming has to take place at a particular place, whether online or the person who is engaging it must be resident, as Senator Ekpeyong said. So I will want to support his position that Mr. President allows us to review this particular act that has been passed by the House of Reps so that we'll be able to look at it and see whether it's in line with what we want or against the Supreme Court position.
Please, I think we shouldn't overflog this matter. The issue is very straightforward, very clear. And after Senator Alero has spoken, I think we'll come to the conclusion of the debate so that we can put the matter to vote. Senator Alero, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I think we are trying to extend our bounds. We have no power to legislate for the state. The Supreme Court judgment is quite clear, and that's why it invalidated what we passed earlier. So I'm of the opinion that we should not bother ourselves legislating for the state. It is within the competence of the state assemblies to do that. And furthermore, I don't want us to go in the same way like we did in the Child Rights Act. We know we passed it here in the National Assembly, and when the state went to the court invalidated what we passed. So we should be very wary of passing this legislation. It is in conflict with the Supreme Court judgment. It is even in conflict with the Constitution because the National Assembly has no jurisdiction to legislate for the state. Thank you.
Well, I think, do you have some lawyers here who want to? Okay, well, I cannot refuse to allow my former chairman of the ruling party. That privilege, is for life. So I have to allow you to speak. Otherwise, I'll close the debate on this very important, on this bill. But you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm humbled. I just want to support all of those who have canvassed that we should try as much as possible not to encroach on matters that are better dealt with at the state level. Because when you listen to commentators, everybody is talking about running a true federalism, even though I don't know what that means. One man's true federalism is another man's unitary system. But each time we legislate in areas that affect the state, we are putting more flesh into the unitary system. I agree absolutely with the manner in which Senator Ekpeyong raised it, and it will be further, some other people have contributed in the same vein, that desirable as it is, where you sit, whether you do it online or you do it on ground, manual or electronic, the thing is that it is done in a particular location. And with the modern technology, you make a call, people know where the call is originating from. So it would be difficult to find out what is going on in each of the states. So I adopt the position of Senator
Okay,
Asuko.
the last person to contribute to debate should be Senator Ned Munir Nwoko. You have the floor. But 2 minutes, because I had closed the debate, but I decided to allow you to
Thank you,
have your say.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Ned Nwoko. I represent the good people of Delta North, Delta State. Mr. President, just a very important point that I wanted to highlight upon, which is the fact that a judgment of the Supreme Court remains what it is until the Parliament enacts an act that deals directly with that particular judgment. Yes, I accept the fact that the Supreme Court has ruled on this particular subject matter. But it does not stop the lawmakers from making a law that will deal with it going forward. And I think we should look at this matter more carefully. Perhaps defer any voting on this and refer it back to the relevant committee on judiciary before taking a vote on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well guided. I think Senator Ned has summarized it in the best manner possible. The fact, number one, there shouldn't be a vacuum. We're talking about online. And when you're talking about online, you could be in a flight, moving from one end to the other, then you do the gaming in your airplane. So you cannot specify this the area, this is the state where I am, and it could be done internationally, in an international space, while you are flying. So you cannot ascribe that, where you did that to a particular state. So there should be a vacuum in any situation. And I think what this bill wants to do is to make sure that there's no vacuum that's left. And beside that, Senator Ned has said it, even if there was a judgment by Supreme Court, this National Assembly, the Senate and House of Reps, can enact a law different from what the judgment, specified. So for this reason, we put it to vote. I don't think there's any encumbrance here. There's nothing that will stop us from making a law in line with what we think is the best for the country, in line with the best interest of the country. So for that reason, let me well, we have closed the debate, but if the leader wants to speak, we should allow him to speak, then you speak. The former leader wants to speak. A big privilege. The leader of the Senate cannot say he wants to speak. We said, no, you have the floor. I thought you want to contribute. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, I'm very
So
distinguished.
it's a privilege. The leader will speak, the former leader will also speak.
I know we had a bill in respect of this same subject matter that was stepped down here because people raised the issue of Supreme Court ruling. However, we must draw a line of demarcation between the contents of the bill that was stepped down here and this current bill. But before I do that, let me also say that even when a Supreme Court has taken a position on an issue, as a parliament, we can legislate and change that position. Supreme Court is the court of appellate jurisdiction. That is in the judicial arm. The same way that the Supreme Court can shut down a law made by the parliament, the parliament also can do a review of a decision taken by the Supreme Court and legislate on it if we think otherwise. So, but on this one, let me just say that this bill is not attempting to legislate for the states. It's also not attempting to legislate for gaming regulation in the federating units. However, the legislative intent here is to take charge through the regulatory body of online gaming, which, according to the objective of this bill, is to take care of activity that will take place across, that will transcend states and even countries. Online gaming is a totally different regime. But if our colleagues feel so strongly that there's a need to further take a look at this, rather than kill this, I will ask for 1 week. I will ask for 1 week so that we can take a look at this and then got all stakeholders back together. But if we choose to pass this bill today, we will not have done anything in conflict with the Constitution or the Supreme Court ruling. Thank you, sir.
But leader, you've said it clearly. If we are not going against the rule, the judgment or the law, why shouldn't we pass it? There's nothing. We are not encumbered by anything. So, and it's within the latitude of this Senate to deal with the matter. Former leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. While I do share my sympathies with some of the positions that have been alluded by the leader of the Senate, I advise that we make haste slowly. Give an opportunity, even if it's for a week, for the Committee on Finance and the committee which is responsible for gaming to look into the details of this act, of this bill, so that we can sit down and make sure that the legislative positions that will come out are not, because the position of the Supreme Court is not a question of denying, a law that has been made or making another law to override the one that you have made. No, the Supreme Court position is on constitutional grounds and on separation of powers, because gaming and other things are not in the concurrent list. They are a residual. They are in a residual position in the Constitution. But I agree that this is an important matter. But I think let's make haste slowly. The leader of the Senate has agreed that we should give a window of about 1 week, so that experts and people who are really concerned on this matter can look at it very closely, so that we don't make legislation that will fall flat on its face, without actually taking our own time to make sure that what we are doing is right and can stand the test of time and the laws and the constitutionality that we are supposed to protect in this chamber. So I will advise, Mr. President, that we give Committee of Finance and the committee in charge of gaming, I think is the Sports Committee, time for them to consult experts so that we can sit down and represent this particular legislation at an appropriate time, maybe after 1 week of consideration. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, Senator Sadmisa is seriously lobbying, and I can see him going around. But let me listen to the minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Abba Moro, and I've listened very carefully to some of the positions that have been advanced by my colleagues. Whether we make haste slowly or hastily, they are all correct. But I think that the most important consideration that we should have here is whether this bills conflict with either any existing law or is in conflict with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And by the contributions of the Senate leader, I think the answer is no. And so if this law does not conflict with any existing law or the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if it is about the fine details of the bill, I think that we had occasions here where bills have been passed, and when fine details are discovered, Mr. President, I thought I heard you are... See, all these people that are coming to that place now, me, I don't understand.
Are protected.
Senator Ekwenyo, you made your contribution, all of us sat down and listened to you. And now you are coming to distract the president now from listening to me.
I'm listening, you can go ahead.
So, Mr. President, I want to say, therefore, that the leader of the Senate had earlier combined two bills for concurrence here. And having observed that we're on the right track, and the only difference is about the timing, I want to believe that, Mr. President, we can pass these bills, and especially against the backdrop of the principle of reciprocity, Since these bills are coming from the House of Rep, I want to believe also, like we used to say, that the bills have passed through all the crucibles. And so, Mr. President, I support that we concur with these bills, again, in line with the principle of reciprocity. Do for me what I will do for you in the interest of Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of the debate on this very, very important bill for concurrence. It has been emphasized over and over again by eminent legal minds here that there's nothing wrong if we decide to enact a law which is at variance with Supreme Court judgment. There's nothing wrong with that. And besides that, it has been emphasized that this bill is talking about covering a vacuum, an area that has not been covered. If someone indulges in gaming in, say, for instance, in Lafia, of course, that will be attributed to Nasarawa State. If it is in Ikotekpene, it will be attributed to Akwa Ibom State. But in a situation when you are flying in the comfort of an aircraft and you decide to indulge in gaming, so where do you ascribe that to when you are moving from one end to the other? So this is what this bill is trying to cover. And if you are moving in a British Airways from Nigeria to London and you decide online while in your aircraft to indulge in gaming, where do you ascribe that to? So this is what we are talking about. We don't want to leave a gap. And it's quite understood. I mean, there's no ambiguity here. And so this is what this bill is talking about. This is what it's talking about. So there is nothing that is ambiguous here. There is nothing that is unclear here. But for that reason, we are operating in democracy. Karimi, you are saying no, Karimi? So, okay, we put the vote. Whatever you want, we do it. Okay, we put the vote. Those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Wait, excuse me now. Again, those in favor that this bill be now be read the second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I'm sorry. The clerk of the Senate, read the bill for second time, clerk of the Senate.
Yeah. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the National Lottery Act number 7 of 2005 and the National Lottery Amendment Act number 6 of 2017 and to enact the Central Gaming Bill to regulate the operation and business of all forms of online and the remote gaming across the geographical boundaries of the federating unit and beyond the boundaries of Nigeria, to provide for the conduct of gaming in the Federal Capital Territory and enhance revenue generation for the Federation and for related matters 2025 HEB 2062, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the National Lottery Act number 7 of 2005 and the National Lottery Amendment Act number 6 of 2017 and to enact the Central Gaming Bill to regulate the operation and business of all forms of online and remote gaming across the geographical boundaries of the federating units and beyond the borders of Nigeria. Provide for the conduct of gaming in the Federal Capital Territory and enhance revenue generation for the Federation and for related matters 2025 HB second reading taken. HB 2026 to second reading taken. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 and for related matters 2025 second reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, pursuant to Order 78 sub 3 of our rules, I move that the bills be now referred to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move.
Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the Senate that these bills be committed to the Committee of the Whole for further consideration. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion as moved by the Leader and second by Manuela, please say aye. Those against say nay. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You know, we are very democratic here. Whatever you want, we do it. The majority carries the vote. Report of the Act to repeal the National Lottery Act number 7 of 2005 and the National Lottery Amendment Act number 6 of 2017 and to enact the Central Gaming Bill to regulate the operation and business of all forms of online and remote gaming across the geographical boundaries of the federating units and beyond the borders of Nigeria. Provide for the conduct of gaming in the Federal Capital Territory and enhance revenue generation for the Federation and for related matters. Clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 10. Those in favor that the form pass of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, up to 21. Those in favor that the form pass of the BCI, those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Karim, you are the lone voice. Unfortunately, or I would say fortunately for the clauses 22. Okay.
Mr. President, my name is Mohammed Sani Musa. If you look at section 22(2), the Commission may prescribe regulations, guidelines, policies for the conduct, operation, management, and control of remote online gaming activities across states and international boundaries.
Sorry, you said what?
The commission may prescribe regulations, guidelines, and policies for the conduct, operation, management, and control of remote online gaming activities across states. If you look at the laws, especially the law in Lagos State, where they brought the law on gamings, you will see that online is also there. And when we are looking at it from that perspective, are we saying that whatever activities on gaming that is done, like the betting they do in Lagos, which is online, and which the Supreme Court has clearly made it that it's illegal, is for the state to regulate? Are we doing the right thing here when we seek to regulate it for the states again? No, if we can define this, I think I'm fine with the bill. Once we can define this, I'm fine with the bill.
I think this matter has been said and said.
And when we are talking about online, there's always an IP address that indicates where any transaction is done. Any transaction that is done online, there is an IP that will indicate where that transaction takes place.
Well, excuse me. Well, let me just explain to him. We've said this. We give an example. We give an example. Anywhere in Nigeria, anywhere you are in Nigeria, you are moving around the states. But what we are saying, there will be a situation where you cannot prescribe. You cannot say for certain that this is where you are in terms of when you are flying or when you are using, So when you are flying, you really cannot say this is where you are. And when you are moving from Nigeria, like if Daddy Woko is going on holidays, order. When Daddy Woko is going on holidays to Honolulu and is moving from Nigeria through UK to Honolulu, at a point when he's doing gaming, you will not be able to say this is where the location is. That's what we are saying.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, Adeola Solomon Olamilekan. Mr. President, I want to say this. I understand the argument of my colleague and their fears. And I want to believe that this particular bill is speaking about online games. And to the best of my knowledge, I know most of our states don't even have the facility to track all of this. I'm coming, sir. They don't have the facility. I'm coming, sir. Sir, please, I'm not talking both sides. I'm only trying to, sir, I want to appeal, sir, I want to appeal to my colleague. If there are concerns about this document, I'm coming, sir. I'm coming.
Ted.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President,
you have my protection.
If there are fears, because I know that in the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, lottery and other is under the residual list. Yes. This is online, and I want to believe that the originator of this bill must have explored the Constitution and all the laws of the land before coming up with this bill. And I'm coming, sir. And to the best of my knowledge, maybe he has seen this as a loophole where revenue that ought to be coming to the coffers of us as a country and as a state is being taken away. So I don't want us, one, to discourage the person that is behind this bill. That is one. Two, I want us to please explore all avenues to see that our fears is allayed to the extent that, I'm coming, sir, to the extent that the interest of the state is covered and it is well protected. And once that is achieved, we should allow the bill to go ahead. I'm coming, sir. Once all these areas, gray areas, where we have expressed our fears concerning this bill is well taken care of. One, the revenue of the state is secure. Two, we should not discourage, because to the best of my knowledge, I know for a known fact, most states don't have this facility to have this revenue. But if there is a joint agreement to take care of their interest in this bill, I think it will be in the interest of this country to allow us to capture all these online games in the interest of the country so as to show our revenue. So I don't want us to go all out against it, but to ensure that all the interests of relevant stakeholders is well protected before it's eventually passed into law. I so submit, Mr. President.
Well, I think former chairman Committee on Finance and current chairman of Committee on Operation, who cares more about getting revenue for government, is raising a very, very important point that we shouldn't allow. You see, state don't have the capacity to do all this. We allow people to go with the money. So.
Distinguished colleagues, in view of the objections raised by majority of the senators, particularly on the issue of how to track these bills, bearing in mind the Supreme Court decision that gaming should actually belong to states, and this e-gaming is amorphous, and we have to be able to make very clear provisions on how to track the revenue. And also know how to divide the tracked revenue between the states and the federal government. I think we should do more work on it. So, Leader of the Senate, remember that even the proponents of the bill were in charge of lottery in Lagos, and they went to the Supreme Court. They went to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that gaming should actually belong to states. Now, if gaming is to be distinguished from e-gaming, if gaming is to be distinguished from e-gaming, in other words, the lottery is to be distinguished from the one that is online. I'm already even worried about this Bitcoin thing, whether the CBN is able to track it in a way that revenue is actually coming to federal government. So I think we should do a little, we shouldn't rush it so that we can actually use it to make money. We should use it to make money. And then we should also know what goes to the states, because a federation is one, but divided into components. So the states should be able to take a part of the revenue that will accrue, and the federal government should also take part of the revenue. But it must be clearly stated here to avoid ambiguity. So what motion would you like to propose?
Mr. President, in view of the fundamental observations that have been made by our colleagues, and also in full consideration and acknowledgement of the fact that this is a concurrence bill already passed by our colleagues in the House, and the need for stakeholders to further engage on this, I would be moving that we step down further consideration of this bill and allow the next 2 weeks well, no, we can't call for a conference committee because we have not passed it. But I feel what is needed, sir, is further consultation. And the consultation will include even the House as a stakeholder, as well as those in charge of lottery regulation in this country, you know. And I cannot pretend, even as I'm here, I cannot pretend not to have received text messages from some of our governors as this debate is going on. Apparently, it's being streamed online. So I believe there's a need for further consideration and consultation. So I will ask for 2 weeks for us to be able to do this, and then we'll bring this back for further consideration.
Approach the chair.
Okay, sir.
Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that one of the two bills in respect of which I had earlier moved for a committee of the whole consideration be stepped down. And specifically, my motion is that we step down further consideration for a period of 2 weeks of the bill for an act to repeal the National Lottery Act number 7 of 2005 and the National Lottery Amendment Act number 6 of 2017, and to enact the Central Gaming Bill to regulate the operations and business of all forms of online and remote gaming across the geographical boundaries of the federating units and beyond the borders of Nigeria, and to provide for the conduct of gaming in the Federal Capital Territory
Beyond the borders of Nigeria?
and enhance.
Can we make a law beyond the borders of Nigeria?
That is the title of the bill.
Because
and enhance revenue generation for the federation and for related matters.
You want to use witchcraft to monitor?
So,
we may have to change the title as part of the consultations.
Part of the further consideration.
Yes, because it looks as if we are making a law for America, for United
but
Kingdom,
Mr. President,
and others.
My motion is that the bill,
we are
further
stepping it
consideration
down.
of the bill is
Thank you.
Step down for the next.
All right. So,
2
Minority
weeks.
Leader.
For further consideration.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, just a little observation that the original motion that brought the Committee of the Whole was the consideration of 2 bills. And so we are stepping down one and continuing with the other. In that regard, Mr. President, I second the motion moved by the leader that the consideration of the bill on e-gaming be stepped down for 2 weeks for further consideration, while we'll continue with the consideration of the second bill on medical center. I so second.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that in view of the seeming inadequacies in the drafts of the motion on this online and remote gaming, that it be stepped down for 2 weeks to allow for adequate further consultations and clarifications on the provisions to ensure that both the federal government and the states can make money from it, and also to take cognizance of the provisions of the Supreme Court decision and how it will affect what we are doing. Those in support that we step this down for further consultation for 2 weeks, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the online gaming and remote lottery is hereby stepped down for 2 weeks for further consideration. Distinguished colleagues, report on the bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 to provide a legal framework for the establishment of the Federal Medical Centers and for related matters 2025, specifically to be enacted by the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, amendment of the Federal Medical Centers Act, clause long title on page 1. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 1 to 3. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 1. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment of the schedule to be retained. Federal Medical Center Obukwa, Federal Medical Center Oshogbo, Federal Medical Center Kwale, Federal Medical Center Sinsi Banki Wamba, Federal Medical Center Isa, Federal Medical Center Angba. I think some of these things we should put the states because some of the names, actually repeat in some states. Like I know that because of the proximity of Ogoja and Ebonyi State, some names of villages repeat themselves. So it will be good that we put the states after the names. Otherwise, like here we say Federal Medical Center, Isa. Isa can be in Borno, it can also be in Kano, can be in Sokoto. So then they will start struggling. Which are we establishing? So, and then Federal Medical Center, Wesley Gill, Elisha. I think Elisha is one. Do you have 2 Elishas? Where? Okay. Ogun State. You have Elisha in Ogun. Yeah. So this one is where now? Because if you have Elisha in Kwara, you have Elisha in Ogun. This one is where? So it's important for us to put the states so we know which particular state we are referring to. Otherwise, Elisha, if you have 4 Elishas, that means you have just established Federal Medical Center, same 4 Elishas. So I think, please, Clerk of the Senate, look for the original bill that was brought to us for concurrence from the House of Reps so that we know exactly and reflect the states in question. Those in support that this clause 2 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, distinguished leader of the Senate, please can you move for us to report progress?
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. I rise to move that the Senate now reverts to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress. Those in support of the motion say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Central Gaming Bill 2025 and approved clauses 1 to 21 as recommended. The Senate, however, deferred further consideration of the bill and stood same down for further legislative action and to be reported for this and stood it down for 2 weeks to enable further consultations. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Clerk, just distinguished colleagues, the Senate further considered the report on the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Clauses 1 to 2 as recommended. Short title on clause 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill be now read for the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion moved by the Senate Leader.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that a bill on the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 and for related matters 2025 be now read a third time. Those in support that this bill be read a third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 and for related matters 2025, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025 is hereby read for a third time. Distinguished senators, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2025 read the third time and passed. Well, let me just commend the House of Representatives for the work done in ensuring that healthcare is brought closer to the people of the country by the creation of more paramedical centers across the nation. And pray that by the time Mr. President assents to this bill, more people will have access to cheap and affordable healthcare. And it will help to enhance healthcare delivery in the entire nation. And also thank our committee on health institutions and for a job well done, and thank all the distinguished senators for their contributions to the debate on this bill. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, it has been a day well spent, and having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I rise to move that the Senate do adjourn till Wednesday, the 8th day of October 2025 at 11 a.m. Mr. President, I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the Senate adjourns to the next legislative day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly now stands adjourned to the 8th day of October 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned. Wednesday, the 8th day of October 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt.